Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Gina. This video is going to focus on really paying attention to the connection of our feet to the earth. So we're going to be doing some standing poses, really finding that grounded foundation down through the feet. We're also going to do some stretches for the feet and the ankles a little bit in some of these poses. So the only thing you need is a yoga mat or a non-slip surface to practice on, and either 2 yoga blocks or a small stool or chair for just a little extra assistance in some of our poses today. So we're going to start standing. So again, we're going to focus on our feet. So feet for our standing mountain pose are hip distance apart. So we want to have the alignment from the points of the hips down through the center of the thigh bone, the center of the lower leg bone, right to the center of the foot. So we want to think of balancing right over top of our heels with a little bit more weight in the heel than the front of the foot. So if you think of the weight between the front and the back of the foot, think of 55% of the weight in your heels and 45% of the weight in your the ball of your foot. So we don't want to lean forward, but we also don't want to be leaning way back and have no pressure down through the ball of the foot. So from this foundation, finding that nice alignment for the feet, lift your toes up off the mat. Spread your toes as far as you can away from each other, and then begin to gently place the toes down one at a time. So start with your pinky toe, place it down, and then the next little baby toe, then the middle baby toe, and the big baby toe closest to the big toe, and then the big toe. And then look down for a moment, see if you can see some space between your toes. Maybe you see the color of your mat between your toes. Maybe you don't, and that's fine, but that's something we'll start to work on, is really making that conscious effort to spread a little bit more through the feet. So from that foundation, think of lifting the inner arch of the foot. Think of the sternum lifting, energy up through the crown of the head. Let the arms release down by your side. Come to your mountain pose. Close the eyes for just a moment. Feel that grounded foundation down through the feet. Begin to notice your breath. Just gently breathing in and out of the nose. Think full breaths in and long, slow breaths out. And you can even imagine as you breathe, imagine that you're breathing in through the soles of the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, you're bringing and releasing the breath from the crown of the head all the way down and out through the soles of the feet, helping to make, again, that grounded connection to the earth. So keeping that thought of that steady rhythm of the breath going as we move through this flow today. Gently let your eyes open, and then inhale, float the arms all the way up and overhead, reach up through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, float the arms gently back down by your side. So we'll do just a couple rounds of the sun breath. So really feel that foundation in your feet. Inhale, float the arms all the way up. And exhale, release the hands down. So now this time, inhale, float the arms all the way up. Reach up through the fingertips. Find a focal point of drishti, something to gently gaze at. And now inhale and lift the heels up off the mat. And exhale, lower the heels back down. So inhale, lift the heels up. Exhale, slowly lower them back down. Good. 2 more times. Inhale, keep breathing. And exhale. Good. Once again, inhaling. And exhale. And then bring the hands together, bring the hands again back down to the heart. So we're going to do a little flow to get down to our mat for just a transition posture. So come to the front of your mat if you're not already there. Have your blocks close by or your stool or chair where you can easily reach it. Find that mountain pose once again. Think again, lift the toes, spread the toes, place the toes down, and then inhale, float the arms all the way up and overhead. Bring the palms together. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart, bend the knees, fold all the way down, standing forward bend. Good, notice where the feet are. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the mat, step your right leg back and your left leg back to downward facing dog. So we're going to start our first downward facing dog with the knees bent. So feet are hip distance apart, just like our mountain pose. Hands are shoulders distance apart, maybe a tiny bit wider. Knees are really bent, send those sit bones up and back. So feel that nice length in your spine first. Now keep your left knee bent, press down through the right heel. So feel that stretch up the back of the leg and across the sole of that right foot. Inhale and exhale. Bend your right knee, straighten your left leg, press through the heel. Again, feel the stretch up the back of the left leg. Feel that stretch across the sole of the left foot. Bend your left knee, straighten the right leg once again. Take a breath. Inhale and exhale. Bend the right knee, straighten the left leg. Inhale and exhale. Then bend the right knee again. Now inhale, come way up onto the toes. Lift your heels up, send your sit bones up and back. Exhale, release the heels down towards the mat. They don't need to touch. And then inhale again, lift the heels up. Exhale, lower the heels down. Again, feel that stretch. One more time. Inhale, lift the heels up. Exhale, lower the heels down. Now, weight into your left heel. Inhale, lift the right leg up, three-legged dog. It doesn't matter how high you lift it, but press through the heel. Lengthen through the spine. Bend your right knee, look towards your hands. Step your right leg forward to your lunge. Lower the left knee down. So here, if you'd like, you can have your hands on your blocks here. So wrist underneath the shoulders. Make sure that right knee is directly over top of your right ankle. Keep those back toes curled under, feel that stretch, and then option to lift the back knee, press through the heel a little bit more, and maybe a little roll forward and back across the toes of that left foot, if you would like. Inhale and exhale. Now press back through the left heel, release the left knee down, keep the toes curled under, again stretching through the bottom of the foot, and then inhale, float the arms all the way up, reach up through the fingertips, press down through both feet. Inhale and exhale, then release the hands back down, just move your blocks out of the way, hands to the mat, lift the back knee, step your right leg back beside your left, come to that downward facing dog. So this time, your variation, you can keep your knees bent, you can straighten through the legs, you can paddle the feet again a couple times. Couple breaths here. And then as you're ready, come to stillness with the legs. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Again, press through the heel, feel that energy in the leg. Bend your left knee, step the left leg forward to your lunge, lower the right knee down, find your blocks once again. Again, curl those back toes under, widen through the collarbones. Keep breathing. Inhale and exhale. And then option to keep those back toes just where they are, or lift the back knee and again press through the heel. So a little bit more stretch there. Inhale and exhale. Keep lengthening through your spine. So that nice stretch through that left hip. Nice flexion in the left hip, little extension in that right leg. Press back through the left heel, right heel, release the right knee down. Press into both feet, and then again float the arms all the way up, reach up through the fingertips, lift the heart and the sternum. Inhale and exhale, release the hands back down. Again, move your blocks out of the way, lift the back knee, step back again to your downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Good, another breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then once again, let's step that right leg forward. So step your right leg forward to your lunge. And then this time we're going to walk the hands towards the long side of the mat. You can take your blocks here if you like, or your stool or chair. Place your hands on the blocks. So we want our feet to be at least nice wide stance here. Think of pressing into the ball joint of the big toe and the inside of your heel. So we don't want the ankles to collapse outwards here. Inhale and exhale. Now press into the feet. Think little tiny micro bend in the knee, hands to the hinge of the hip, pressing into the feet, come up to stand. And then just adjust your alignment as you need. If you need your feet to be a little wider, that's fine. If you need them to be a little narrower, that's fine too. But think of that same alignment. We're still pressing evenly into the feet with a tiny bit more weight and the ball joint of the big toe and the inside of the heel so your ankles don't roll out. And then lift the kneecaps up, lift the sternum, energy through the crown of the head. Float the arms up, reach out through the fingertips. Star pose here. So press down through the feet, reach through the fingertips. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now bring the hands to the hips. Turn your toes so they face a little bit towards the front corners of your mat, the long side of your mat. Then bring your hands to your inner thighs. Bend your knees towards the end of your mat. We want those knees to end up over top of the ankle, just like in our lunge. So we don't want the knees in here. We're working on, this is horse stance for those of you who ride. Horse stance to start with. Then we're going to bring the arms out to the side, come to a goddess pose. Inhale and exhale. Now lift the right heel up and then lower the right heel down. Inhale, lift the left heel up. Exhale, lower the left heel down. So repeat that a couple times. Again, working a little bit on the feet there. Right heel lifts, right heel lowers. Inhale, left heel lifts, left heel lowers. Now, what if you lift both heels up and lower them down? And both heels up and lower them down. Now, what if you try to balance here? So lift both heels, find that focal point. Find your breath, breathe and balance. Inhale and exhale. Great. Now release the heels down, straighten the arms again, straighten the legs, come to that star pose. Maybe take the gaze up a little bit. Inhale and exhale. Now release the hands down, bring your hands back to your hips. Turn your toes so they face the long edge of your mat once again. Now turn the right foot towards the right end of your mat. Bend your right knee. If it shoots past your ankle, walk your foot out a little bit further. Back foot turns slightly inward. So really think of the connection of your feet to the earth. These poses are really beneficial for really bringing that awareness to what the muscles in our feet are doing. So spread those toes again, find that connection. Think of the inner arch of that front foot lifting. You're pressing into that outside edge of the back foot. You're lifting the inner arch of the back foot, but we're still pressing down through the big toe and the inside of the heel. Bring your arms out by your side. Look out over that right middle finger. Come to warrior two. Inhale and exhale. Again, press through the feet. Find that breath. Inhale and exhale. Now inhale, straighten the front leg, float the arms up, let the palms touch. And then exhale once again, bend that front knee, come back to that warrior two pose. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, bend the front knee, keep anchored down through that back foot. 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Now straighten your front leg, bring your arms overhead, palms touch. Turn the right toes back towards the long edge of your mat. Turn your left foot towards the left end of your mat. Bend your left knee, bring your arms into that warrior two now to the left. Adjust your feet as needed. Really think again. Now press into all 4 corners of this front foot. Can you feel a little bit more weight in your heel than the ball of your foot? Can you lift the inner arch? Can you feel the pressure down in the outside edge of your back foot and lift the inner arch of the back foot? Reach out through the fingertips and breathe. Inhale and exhale. Good, then inhale, really press into the feet. The movement comes from the feet. Float the arms up. Exhale, bend the knee again, settle back down to your warrior two. Again, press into the feet. Send those arms overhead. Exhale, again, bend that front knee. 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Good, another breath here. Inhale and exhale. Now lead with your back hand. Sweep that arm all the way up. Look towards the front of your mat. Both hands on either side of the front foot. Come onto the toes of your back foot. Walk your right foot just a little bit towards that right hand. Step back to your downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Good, another breath. Inhale and exhale. Now release the knees down to the mat. And curl your toes. Really feel the toes press into the tops of the toes pressing into the mat. We're going to settle back to a child pose. If you want a little assist, you can use your block underneath the forehead. So send your hips back towards your heels. Let the forehead release down. Again, you can use a block, or you can just stack your hands up. Let your forehead rest on your hands. Take a couple breaths here. So again, thinking of the feet, think of pressing into the tops of the feet now. So we're feeling that counter stretch a little bit for the feet. Breathe in and out through the nose. Really breathe into the back of the body. And then as you're ready, press into the hands. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Let the hands rest on the thighs. Maybe let the eyes close for just a couple moments. Reconnect again with your breath. Check in and see how your feet are feeling. And as you're ready, very gently, let the eyes open. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed that video. If you want a little more, you can repeat that video or add it to any of the other videos that I have on my channel. It's very interesting, you know, a lot of times you go through those poses and maybe have been a practitioner for a long time and you're very familiar with all of those poses, but sometimes we just kind of get into that habit of just, you know, repeating them and moving slow or quickly through without really paying attention to foundation. So that really helps to take that time to really feel the connection of your feet to the earth in all of your poses, and then take that connection even into poses where your feet are maybe not touching the earth, in some inversion poses. Really interesting to think of, you know, how much your feet are doing when they're maybe not on the mat. So thank you again for joining me today. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, check out Grey Horse Yoga in the info section below. I teach a Zoom class every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Everyone's welcome. And I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Have a great day. Bye-bye.